How's it going, everybody? It is your 27th favorite lawyer here, and yes, that's right. I am climbing back into the good graces of popularity. Maybe not so much with the legal community, but with the general public. I've had so many people, texts, phone calls, direct messages on the internet, even people pulling me aside in public saying, "Hey, man, like I'm really enjoying the videos you're making, the content you're putting out regarding that trial. You should do some of that stuff more often." So, uh, you know, maybe I will. There's been a couple of things in the news that probably need to get talked about. My boy JT getting a DUI, Jack Reacher beating the shit out of his neighbor. So maybe I'll start getting some of these more interesting trials and or cases or legal issues and getting on here to explain them. Because at the end of the day, I mean, this is what I do. A lot of lay people don't understand the legal system. And let's be real, a lot of lawyers don't really understand the legal system. So maybe there's an avenue for that. But you know why we are here. I know why I'm here. The NOLA staged wreck cases. I was planning on making this video after the last one no matter what, but just as before, it's the gift that keeps on giving. The stage wreck trial had another little wrinkle. Just a week after the guilty verdicts were reached against Giles and Mata, Mata's mother found herself in the news once again for something dealing with a car wreck. This time, it was her. Now, before you guys want to get cute and maybe mean and possibly a little funny and say, "Oh, did she get in a stage wreck? Was it real? How do we know?" Go ahead and just have a little bit of maybe compassion. Think about the human themselves. She's probably, you got an elder lady now during one of the worst periods of her life, probably taking care of a 2-year-old and a teenager by herself. So God only knows what she's going through, but it's been confirmed. A week after, so last Thursday at 8:30 in the morning, there was a wreck, and a car driven by Mata's mom crashed into, I believe it's a daycare center near Mount Carmel. It was a big old media circus after that happened. Obviously, a lot of local stations reported. They were trying to get information. Daycare told people to leave. News, I think it was a single car collision. She probably hit a building or something. People were asking, "Hey, what's going on with this? Can you give us more info? Was there any kind of toxicology reports done? Was she impaired or anything like that?" NOPD declined comment. But once again, finding themselves in the news, they can't catch a break, and it's dealing with car wrecks. I don't know anything more about if she's heard all the specifics, but if I do, I'll be glad to jump on here. But why are we here? Well, a verdict was reached. Covered that in detail in my last video. Sentencing: Mata July 7th, Giles July 14th. What are they looking at? You've got comparing thoughts, comparing schools of thought on this, I guess you could say. Some people think, hey, like one of the lead analysts following this whole trial says, it's 7 to 12 years they could face. So I think it'll be something like that. It all depends on how bad the judge thinks they defrauded people. What was the scale of it? How many millions of dollars were defrauded in this, which, if you're just tagging along, seems like a lot. But there's also other prevailing schools of thought from defense lawyers who are like, hey, they're going to throw the book at these people. They might even go to jail for 20 years and in this, but there's no way to know right now. The charges themselves appear to carry in between 7 or 12. There was a lot of counts, so it just all depends on Judge Vitter. How bad does she want this to serve as a deterrent for any future schemes like this? How bad does she think that these actors were? Obviously, the jury felt they were bad actors, but it's going to be up to Judge Vitter once sentencing comes, and will she make an example out of this? She is a conservative, so will she throw the book at him? That's kind of my guess. I think that she's going to veer on the more severe side of the punishment than the more lenient. So that's kind of what they're looking at. Obviously, besides criminal sentencing and going to jail, they're getting permanently disbarred. So Giles losing his license. Mata's losing her license. Danny Keating, who pled guilty and cooperated, he's losing his license. But those are only 3 of the actors in here. And so that's kind of the purpose of this video is throughout all of this, and you might remember in some other videos, when this whole indictment came out, they were just calling attorney, I think they were calling them attorney A, B, C, D, D, all the way, I think, to J or K. So a lot of actors. Now, during the course of this, people were indicted and exposed. All of these attorneys were questioned, and some cooperated, some were, I guess, offered information that they knew, and so some of them were even offered immunity deals. But only 3 were charged. That's 3 we know about. If you've been paying attention and reading some of the articles, and/or they'll probably be posted up here, you'll notice there's other players being named. There's other law firms. Obviously, King Firm and Modest Firm and Womack were the 3, and Keating's firm were the most mentioned. Well, because King sprung off of Womack, so that's why that got tied in. But the King Firm, you can't put the King Firm in jail, so they're gonna go after them for fines and cost and all that good stuff. You can't put them in jail, but you could punish them and probably try to bankrupt them. Modest Firm is probably good as gone, even though she's a solo practitioner. That'll probably not be there anymore. But there's other members of the King Firm. There's other people who were named in some of these investigations. There were some people, other firms who were involved with handling of some of these staged wrecks. And so while you can draw your own conclusions on that, I'm not saying they knew about it or should have known about it. They could have been just blatantly unlucky and had a stage wreck that walked through their door. Some of these they think were maybe referred, either knowingly or unknowingly, by these bad apples. So you got other names floating around. And so what's going to happen with these people?